Hey there! So for our bonus video this month, I wanted to talk to you about your inherent visual impression. Since we've been talking about those colors that raise our intensity as well as those that lower our intensity, I thought it would be a good idea for you to just kind of take a moment, if you haven't ever done this before, and think about what is your starting point, what is your inherent visual impression. So let's begin by defining what I mean by that term. Your visual impression is the immediate impression that people have of you when they see you. And that's really comes from just the way that you were created and to be. It's nothing that you are able to do. Let's just imagine no clothes, and it's just the impression that you give off just from the very being that you are. So our visual impression is affected by 5 things, and then there's one extra I'll add that's not quite visual but does contribute to our visual impression. But let's start with the first 5. Number 1 is the value of your coloring. Are you light coloring, a light value, medium value, or dark value? And that does affect how people, their impression of you, just based on your color value. The second one is the contrast level between your hair, your skin, and your eyes. We've talked about this in previous lessons, identified what that is. But are you high, are you medium, or are you low contrast? Because that also contributes to your visual impression. The structure of your body also contributes. So are you petite? Are you average? Or are you tall in height? Are you small, medium, or large boned? Are you straight or are you curvy? Or are you muscular? Do you have a small bust, a large bust, or a medium bust? Are you slight? Are you medium weight or are you heavyweight? What about your facial features? This is number 4. Are your facial features soft and rounded, or are they sharp and angular? Do you have a small, medium, or large mouth, nose, or eyes in relationship to the rest of your face? Because all of those things also contribute to our visual impression. And then your age impression. Do you look young? Do you look middle-aged? Or do you look mature or elderly? And then how different is your age impression from your actual age? So do you look much older? Do you look much younger? Or do you look like you're in the ballpark of a woman of your age? And then the 6th one that I mentioned is your energy. So even though energy is an intangible, it's not something we can see visually, sometimes just that aura, that energy contributes to our visual impression, how quickly or slowly we move, how quickly or slowly we speak, how much just energy kind of emits from us. Do we walk into a room and bring, calmness, or do we walk into a room and like everything ramps up? So that also contributes to your visual impression. So let's pretend that we could all walk around in our skin tone in a bodysuit, so we're not using color or clothing to either enhance or alter our inherent visual impression. What would if you were doing nothing to change it, nothing to enhance or to balance it out, what would your visual impression be? What's your default? What's your starting point? So do you come across to others as formal, as powerful, distant, intimidating, striking, dangerous, sultry, sexy, sophisticated, friendly, approachable, open, closed, happy, sad, serious, sly, simple, nondescript, flamboyant, gentle, strong, sturdy, delicate, icy, warm, youthful, middle-aged, mature, elderly, feminine, or masculine. What is the impression that you give? And obviously sometimes, depending on who your audience is, you may have a slightly different impression. So to a much younger child, you might appear more elderly than to someone who is a peer or someone who is much older than you. But if you just, kind of take out the average, what is your visual impression? It helps us to understand our visual impression default position, because then we can choose through our color and our style to either enhance that visual impression or to balance it out, or even create an alternate visual impression to some degree. So for example, if you appear much younger than your actual years, you may want to dress in a way that would make you appear more your actual age, so that you would be taken more seriously, perhaps in business or something like that. Or if you appear much older than your actual age, then you might want to balance that out to create a bit of more youthful impression, so that you are not discounted as being, too old for your industry, for example. Now, if you want to attract people, but you come across as formal and distant, then you might want to dress in a way that makes you appear more approachable. Or if you appear very friendly and approachable, there may be times that you want to dress in a way that will make you appear a little more authoritative and a little bit less approachable. If you are strong with high energy, then you may want to lower that intensity. Or if you are actually very fragile and delicate looking, but you have that strength and intensity, then you might want to balance that so that people are not always trying to rescue this delicate little thing, that they're actually beginning to see some of that underlying strength and determination. Now, the key is to do this in a way that's authentic to you. For example, too often women who want to look more mature can end up, dressing in a way that actually just makes them look frumpy. Or women who want to look younger can fall into the trap of looking like they are trying too hard to look younger. And we're not talking about that kind of altering. We're talking about using your colors, your seasonal style lines to create looks that change your visual impression, or either to enhance or to balance it out. If you are trying to look less powerful, sometimes the way women dress is really to become nondescript. And so instead of just, bringing that sort of powerful edge down to a more approachable level, they actually bring it down so low that they just kind of disappear and nobody, pays them any mind. And then when they do speak out, it's like a shock to everyone. So that doesn't serve you well at all. You want to do this in a way that is still authentic to you, but that allows you to use your colors. And that's why knowing your seasonal colors and style is so important, because as we've been learning over the last 6 months, every single color on your palette serves you in a particular way. It creates a particular impression, it has a particular effect on you and a particular effect on others. And not only just the colors themselves, but the way you combine them, the garments that you choose to wear in those colors, all of those things play together to create a particular effect. And that's ditto for our fabric choices as well. So I've included a PDF this month to help you assess your inherent visual impression. And it's just basically going to tick some boxes so that you can kind of see what are the factors that contribute to your visual impression. What is your, default starting point for a visual impression? And then you can decide if I want to enhance this, how do what are the colors I'm going to choose and the styles and those kinds of things. And if I need to balance it out, which way do I want to balance it out? And then what are the colors and fabrics and styles I would choose in order to do that? So we know that those who have lighter coloring, softer values, appear more approachable than those who have darker coloring and darker values. And I can't explain why that is. It's just the way it is. This is what's been discovered, that psychologically we're just find light valued people more approachable than darker value. Lower contrast, medium to lower contrast, again, more approachable than those with high contrast. It's probably because high contrast people tend to be more striking, and we're sometimes intimidated by that. So that's just important to know. It doesn't mean you should feel badly if you're a friendly, outgoing person who happens to have high contrast or dark value, but you're just going to know that you have to work a little bit harder to allow people to see your personality, not just your inherent coloring. People who are more of a presence, have more of a presence than those who are small and slight, and sort of can get discounted. Not saying anything negative against the petite among us, but you just need to recognize that you're going to have to work a little bit harder to create that visual presence if you need to have that in your life. So that's kind of what we're talking about here is, now that we've got such a good grasp on our different colors and how they're working for us and what impressions they're giving and how they're affecting others and how they affect us and how combining them together, does different things, it's time to play. This is our homework for this month. So download the PDF, figure out what is your inherent visual impression. And if you get stuck, you can ask other people for their opinion. Show them the list and say, hey, how would you, describe my visual impression? And you can even ask others in the group here. But I think for most of us, once we sort of start to figure it out, it comes pretty easy for us to understand, yeah, I guess that's how people would typically see me just to start, before I open my mouth, before anything is said. And you've probably encountered this throughout your life, and you've already learned some coping mechanisms for altering that impression if you need to. But our colors are a wonderful way to do that. Our seasonal style lines and our fabric choices, again, all of these things can contribute to either enhance or balance out our visual impression.